I'm sorry, is there a new deal that you plan to announce in South Korea with those two companies?
But if I announce it today...
Jensen,
what's your favorite AI?
My favorite AI, I use ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and I ask them for second and third opinions.
And what's your best prompt? What's your favorite prompt?
My favorite prompt is when I load a whole bunch of research papers into the AI, and I come up with a rough outline of the type of research that I would like to do and a whole bunch of questions. And so I'm fairly rigorous in setting up the AI to succeed, and it comes back with a fairly detailed report, and that's really, really quite successful.
Why is the AI boom different than the dot-com bubble for those that might be skeptical?
The AI boom, well, first of all, many of the AI companies are already the fastest growing companies ever in history. I think OpenAI is one of the fastest growing companies in history. Their revenues will suggest it. Cursor is one of the fastest growing companies in history. The list goes on. And so these companies are generating real revenues, and the tokens that they generate, they're investing really quite significantly. So maybe the company's not profitable, but the AIs that they're selling, the AIs that they're licensing, is completely profitable. And that's a big deal. The fact that the product that they're offering to the marketplace is a profitable product, that's the reason why they all want to scale. Because if you manufacture something with profit, you want to manufacture a lot more of it.
On your meeting with President Trump, is there anything you'd like to foreshadow with us on what your big ask will be, what you will discuss with him? Obviously, you'll discuss China and some of your market issues. Is there anything else you can share with us on what you plan to ask President Trump?
No.
How far behind is the grid from where you need to be for demand in terms of electricity? We talked to a lot of grid operators. They say...
Remember, AI doesn't care where it goes to school.
Okay.
And so we can put AI behind the grid, behind the meter. And so we ought to generate power as much as we can. We ought to use sustainable power as much as we can. We're going to use power of all kinds, whatever's available. It doesn't have to be on the grid. Now, it's also the case that putting these factories on the grid, sharing the grid, will be helpful to the grid long term. And so, because these power generators are going to generate an enormous amount of power, we can rent it back into the grid when the grid needs it.
What do we think is just the beginning of AI's impact on the workforce?
Yeah, and obviously it is. And I think we are at the very beginnings of the AI journey as useful AIs are now being adopted all over the world. It's really terrific to see AI being helpful in healthcare. In fact, healthcare is one of the fastest adopting industries in AI. It's terrific to see that AI is going to be adopted in autonomous vehicles and robotaxis. It's really happening there. Obviously, in software development and all of the work that Nvidia does, we use AIs pervasively, and really deeply. And so, AI is now industry by industry by industry, starting with the most important ones, really taking off.
What have you learned from the process of building Blackwell manufacturing in the U.S. that you think the tech industry and the White House needs to understand as it wants to do more tech manufacturing?
I learned that America needs a very substantial increase in skilled labor workforce. Mechanical engineers, electricals and plumbing and carpenters and construction. The skilled craft labor force in the United States is about to get a giant boom in amount of business opportunity and growth opportunity, and I'm really happy about that. Look, I went to college and I was very fortunate to have done that, and I chose to do that. But there's a lot of wonderful lives and wonderful professions that could be had where people don't go to college, and they would just like to dedicate themselves to skilled craft. I think that America needs to honor, to celebrate people who dedicate themselves to the skilled craft part of the ecosystem. Without them making beautiful things and wonderful things, how would we be able to enjoy life? And so everything in the world doesn't have to be about typewriting, don't you think? Which is my job. Everything doesn't have to be about software. There's a lot of wonderful things that used to be built. And I'm really grateful for all of the work that the Arizona workers and the Texas workers and the Indiana workers in helping us stand up all that manufacturing in just a few months.
You're traveling to South Korea tomorrow. So what kind of partnership do you expect between Nvidia and Korean company like Samsung and SK?
Samsung, SK, Hyundai, LG, Naver, If you just look across the entire Korean ecosystem, every one of the companies